Hello, as I'm
Hey,
taking a sip of coffee, which is apropos for me. Hello, Jill Blake. How are you?
I'm good. I want to let everybody know I've got David Lynch's picture behind me. Today would have been his I cannot believe I'm saying would have been.
I
It would have
know.
been his 79th birthday.
Yeah.
Um and he passed away on
Yeah.
Thursday
Thursday of
last
last
week.
week. Yeah.
He pulled a Bowie on us. I mean, he like died and then his birthday.
So,
Oh
for
my
those who
god.
don't know, Jill is my other half. This is a rare
Yeah,
occasion
hey.
where you're a guest. My other half. I mean, you're the co-owner of our business. You're the
Yes.
co-host of our podcast. Not this one, but which is weird.
No,
But
no.
so
This is not in my house
you're
of wheel, the
well,
wheelhouse.
you're part. You're in
Yes.
this house as an editor. So this is
Yeah.
the companion podcast to the book, and you are editing the book, not actively at the moment, but we'll get into that. But we're
Yeah.
we're friends, and yeah,
Yeah.
when David Lynch happened last week, I think it's fair to say that we both ran to our private chat and exchanged some. What in the world? How could this happen? I mean, it was a shock, and
I am like definitely reeling. I mean, I had a feeling that um because he did that gave that interview back in the fall where he talked about how he was essentially homebound, and it's no
yeah.
secret he did quit smoking, but he loved to smoke.
Hmm.
He talked about how that was, I mean, he when he says about the art life, he loves the art
Yep.
life because it's
Yep.
smoking and it's coffee, and he loved to smoke. I don't think there's hardly a picture of him or video of him where there's not a cigarette in his hand. And ultimately, that's what took him out. And although they're
Yeah.
saying that really he had emphysema, COPD, and he
Hmm.
had to evacuate because of the Sunset Fire in Los Angeles, and so
Oh,
that actually the air quality um, really. I mean, he had been ill.
that hurts. That
That
hurts.
was
Yeah.
inevitable, but the air quality and pollution from the fires is really what took him out.
Oh,
So,
well,
but we have been in like we've been reeling. But I think that and so I picked this as my background, part
mhm.
in tribute, but also because I feel like it's very much in the spirit of what you are working on or what we both are working
Well,
on.
the
So
thing is, he's all over what I'm working on. I've already cited him as, and the thing. So, okay, obviously, this is about the A24 book I've been writing, and actually, I'll just go to the Kickstarter, and so let me just scroll down. Oh, there's the May Queen. I'm going to do a little fast scroll to the very bottom to look at the table of contents. Sorry, I just conveniently have them there. Oh yeah, these are not the actual titles. The titles are more
right.
fun for the chapters. But yeah. So David Lynch, he's here. He influenced this guy. Oh, for sure, influenced this guy. This guy. I would say Eggers for sure.
Yeah.
I would say Yorgos. Yeah. And probably Barry, although it's not as obvious. I think the Safdies a little bit.
I
Um,
mean, I honestly think, I mean,
all of it.
Lynch was, he is one of the last great auteurs, and that's not to say there are auteurs
Yeah.
right here in this list here, but he
Hmm.
was one of the last working auteurs. And uh, I don't know, maybe he was the greatest living filmmaker.
He was amazing. Yeah.
I would make an argument for that he
Mhm.
was certainly one of the most exciting and definitely kept people on their toes. But I think I can't remember who, and I don't want to digress here, but I
Right.
think this
Yeah,
is
it's fine.
important because it does tie in, I think, to what a lot of what we're talking about. But one thing, I want to say it was an interview with, you know what, I'm not going to say who it is because I can't remember, but somebody had shared an interview where they were talking about Lynch, and how Lynch was completely unironic. He
Hmm.
really and truly appreciated all of, the birds singing and the sky being blue. And when there's
Yeah.
video of him talking about the red curtain in Twin Peaks, and he says, "Oh, look at that curtain. Look how beautiful it is." He's not being funny. He's
Yes.
being absolutely genuine, and all of that ties into his outlook on life and his Buddhist kind of beliefs and
Hmm.
everything. So anyways, just I think there was a beauty about him that a lot of filmmakers maybe don't embrace, but I think there are some in this list that
A
do.
lot. Yeah.
And so I don't know. I just felt like having this here, and because his fingerprints are all over
Mhm.
everything that A24 puts out. So
Yeah, and so yeah, we are reeling huge loss, a massive loss, and I had talked about him in the book, but of course he was living, so unfortunately I'll have to edit some of that,
which is
past tense,
which
which
is
is
just insane. Just
I know.
insane, Aaron.
I've been writing this book, and yeah, having to edit the life of one of my, I mean, my number one film. Go to my letterbox, Mulholland Drive. I have, I think, like 6 copies in my home of Mulholland Drive, and that's not to mention all the others. So yeah, devastating, and what timing too. That was like our 4th day of our Kickstarter, and yeah, we were in a good mood. Good shit was happening, and then all of a sudden, yeah. But so yeah, David Lynch, love you, man. But hard to transition from that.
Oh
But
no, God.
I'm glad we paid tribute because we really had to. We would have done it in some way, shape, or form on our other podcasts or whatever. But he's just too massive. Probably even on our journey call this week.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we are working on a book. I kind of hold up for like months, a couple months, really, over the holidays, and I just jammed out some words. So I've actually got like the way I worded it was publishable, in that it's not actually publishable, but like as far as word count and page count, like I have something that
Oh,
is actually
it's in book
size
length. Yeah,
book length is what
absolutely.
I yeah, like it's got to be good. So I wouldn't want anybody to read. I mean, it's the writing process. There's refining, there's editing, and so let's. I'll share the Kickstarter again, and yes, please, if you're seeing this for the first time, please support us. We are close to our goal. I'll scroll back up here. As we are recording this, we're close to our goal. Almost made it. We are. I think this is 82%. It doesn't
Yeah,
show me the math here, but here is a trailer by the wonderful Wade Sheeler. So
good
yeah,
friend of ours.
and this is the cover too by Caitlin Kuwald, another good friend of ours.
Yes.
The May Queen. This is going to be in color, and wow, this I cannot wait for this beautiful sketch to be in color. If you saw, and you have seen, Jill, if you saw the black and white of this, and then when it became colorful, just think of it like that.
It just it's absolutely stunning. Caitlin does incredible work, and we've been partnering with her since the inception of Cine Journeys, and she's just such a we have such a great collaborative relationship with her.
She's the
And
best.
she's just so talented and really
Hmm.
has helped bring to life so many of our ideas. So
We're
yeah,
lucky. I mean, we're
we
lucky
are
to have
very
that working
lucky.
relationship and friendship with Caitlin. So yeah, and couldn't be happier to have her as part of this project. And
Oh,
yeah,
and one
she's
thing, Aaron, can I
oh, go
add
ahead.
too, is that, a big reason why we're doing this Kickstarter is because Aaron and I are putting this book out.
We are.
We are not, going through traditional publishing channels, um, just because for a lot of reasons.
Hmm.
But a lot of it's because we want to be able to control the creative process on this, and
Exactly.
and then get this out to people who are fans of A24 or want to learn more about A24. So that's why we're doing this, is because we want to be able to bypass that very, very not so fun process with
I
publishing. So
I've had a book deal before, and that's a story for another day. And no, not a bad story, not a horror
sure.
story, not an A24 story. Well, maybe a
Right.
different kind of
Maybe it
A24
could
story.
be. I don't know. It'd be like a
But
really gripping, like corporate drama.
yeah, but the thing is, A24 is a popular label. It's a popular topic, and so I know a lot of people are excited about the book. I'm very happy with what I've written so far. I'm really happy with however my words will be transformed by your mind. That's a weird way of putting it, but it's true. But the thing is, we could get a publisher for this,
Yes.
and we could go that route, and it would take a lot longer. But we went this route, and so as you can see here, um, we have a $3,000 goal, and we're almost there. But it actually costs us to put this out ourselves. Probably all said, I'd say maybe 15 grand to do it right.
Right.
So this is just the first of many goals. So we have 38 days to go. In the meantime, I'm going to be writing. I actually took a little break because this Kickstarter, and it just so happened that we lost David Lynch, so I was able to give, I watched Wild at Heart in tribute. Did you watch any David Lynch movies last week
I
or over the
haven't.
weekend?
It's been so crazy because
Yeah,
my daughter had this crazy swim meet over the weekend. So like I didn't even get to have a moment. I've just been watching like interview clips, but I'm
yeah,
actually I think I'm gonna watch the Art Life, which by the way,
yeah.
if you don't have the Criterion channel, they are streaming that for free for non-subscribers, but it's a really great glimpse into his process. So I think I'm actually going to rewatch that because I think
That's awesome.
it's such a great little thing. And I might put on the Twin Peaks pilot because
Yeah.
it's just a
Oh, that's
thing
yeah.
of beauty, you know.
I might
Um,
put on The Return episode 8.
oh my
Uh,
God. Yeah,
God,
maybe
yeah,
that too.
yeah. I mean, there's so I think I'm gonna. I mean, not to capitalize or anything, but just I think I'm gonna put more of him in the book too. So I'll just
Mhm.
share. You've already seen some of the intro, but I do talk about what led me to as my personal prologue, what led me to writing this book in the book. And but the reality why I love A24, and they're not perfect. That's one thing that get covered. This is not a hagiography, but for the most part, they put out some amazing films, especially Midsummer, as we mentioned, Moonlight, lots of others. Do you have a favorite?
Probably, so I am not like it's hard for me to get out to see a lot of new movies. So I have to say that, and I'm pretty much seated in the old classic stuff. So like I do pick and choose. Um, I would have thought we just actually watched The Substance, and I actually would have thought that that was an A24 film because it certainly feels like one. Um, but probably Uncut Gems. Although
Oh, that's a good one.
I have to say it's not a pleasant movie. Um, but I really loved it,
It's great.
and,
Yeah.
even though it threw me into, like, an absolute panic spiral, but,
Have you
that
seen
is a
other
great
Safdie
movie.
films like Good
I've seen
Time
Good
or
Time, I've seen Good
okay,
Time, um, I feel like there's another one.
Daddy Longlegs?
I haven't seen Daddy Longlegs,
Yeah, there's quite a few.
but
Uh,
no, and like we were talking too about like I actually was asking you like if Mother was an A24 film because it definitely because I loved that one and it
yeah,
definitely feels like it could be. But I and actually I really legitimately thought that The Substance was an A24 film until I realized, oh no, the distribution got totally like screwed
hmm
on that, and then
it's
Movie
a
ended up
movie.
picking it up.
Yeah.
So of all the places, so
So
but it
Jill
I
doesn't
guess
know.
it could.
The substance is in the book, though. So
Yeah.
the one thing about the A24 New Wave is it's not just now. It is primarily um, almost completely about A24 films, but it also and in fact, I don't think I put it on the Kickstarter yet, but I do have like an A24-ish chapter, like films
Mhm.
like The Substance, like Mother, for example,
It's the
with it.
new Lynchian.
It is, it
It's
is.
A24-ish.
And like Julie DeCornell, Titan,
Mhm.
and she's now doing working with A24 in a film. So there's certainly,
They've
people
definitely
want.
kicked off a style of film. They have
Right.
definitely ushered in, which is what this whole book is about. They have
It
ushered
is,
in a
yeah.
new wave of
Hmm.
cinema.
And
And there will be copycats, and there will be some that do it
yeah,
better that are not A24. So, but
absolutely.
they definitely have kind of started a trend, I guess.
And as people read the book, they'll see I'm not like saying that, hey, we're gonna it's not like Cahiers de Cinema. They basically had this manifesto or Dogma 95, although all those movements get talked about, and I try to frame H24 in that context.
Mhm.
But the interesting thing is they're a business, they're a company, they want to make money. We've seen they have their fan base, they have their cult, they sell a lot of stuff. Go to their website. They sell a lot of stuff, and we're selling stuff too. But
Well, Aaron, this is kind
it's
of
stuff
like
people want to
too.
have. Yeah,
This is like the Robert Evans Paramount era too. I mean,
very much so.
I
Yeah.
mean, in a way, like because
Hmm.
that was. But again, it's a business, it's a studio, but they were putting out a. Now it was a short period of time, but it
Hmm.
was kind of the new Hollywood cinema, and
Yeah.
and Paramount was at the forefront of that and putting out these like groundbreaking films that is
Hmm.
all kind of in a similar fashion.
And they're in the book, and AIP is in the book, American
Mhm.
Independent Corpsmen. A lot of UFA is in the book, German Expressionism. So, I mean, none of those are exactly apples to oranges or apples to
Right.
apples with A24. It's very unique. And Miramax, for example, that is a very different story
But
in a lot of
still, I
ways.
mean,
But yeah,
but Miramax dominated. I mean, now
hmm,
we know
very
why they
right,
dominated, but
right.
I mean, Miramax is synonymous with 90s and mid-aughts cinema. I mean, you
Hmm.
cannot
And
it dominated
yeah.
every corner.
And I mean, really, A24 rolls right into that tradition. So while I do give them credit for keeping this alive, I don't really give them credit for starting a new wave, because a lot of these
Sure.
things were kind of it's kind of like grunge music. So like
Right.
Nirvana's Nevermind was the seminal album, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, but there were a lot of things brewing. And in
Mhm.
independent cinema, there were a lot of things brewing really in the prior 20 years, really the prior 100 years. So
Which I mean,
um,
Kurt did try to give props to um,
he did, yeah.
when he did Unplugged, and he brought out oh my god,
Uh, the Melvins?
the Meat Puppets.
Meat
I
Puppets,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
they were.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
so I mean,
and
there
that's
are
it.
directors here in A24 that are like, wait a minute, no, you need to look at this
Mhm,
director that I've really strong. I mean, Sean Baker is a prime example of
yeah,
him. He talks about all of the, a lot of Giallo directors that he admired. But I mean, he talks about
a
like
whole bunch, yeah,
a
uh,
whole bunch of directors that probably most people that go to the movies have never heard of.
yeah, and he
So
channels them. Jess Franco, of course, is the big one for the new film. Um, the thing is, I'm actually writing, or I'm finalizing the Sean Baker chapter right now. I love it. I think it's one of the better ones. And we'll have to wrap up here, but I'm about to start on the Safdies chapter, because they're in the next logical. And then Ari Aster, it's percolating. Ari Aster
okay.
is, I had to watch Hereditary again. I say had to. I loved it. It's a great movie, but um, and I look forward to Midsummer and all that. But the Safdies, I'm actually procrastinating a little bit, because I have to go back and watch Daddy Longlegs. I have to watch Frownland again, which is their collaborator Ronald Bronstein. So yeah, it's not all fun and games, but I'm really enjoying the writing process. I just added a Western chapter, which I'm really looking for. I think you'll
That's
love
really
that, because
cool.
the classic Western and revisionist Westerns of like the 60s and 70s, that's all going to get talked about. So yeah, support us, and just
Yes.
hopefully you'll support us as human beings. Jill is awesome. We have this. I mean, we've been working together for like what, 5 years now. It's crazy. and through all of our trials and tribulations, we're making shit happen. So
We are.
help us make shit happen. So thanks, Jill, and
Thank you,
everybody
Aaron.
else. We will talk to you either on our platform, our podcast, our social media. But Jill, I almost called you Jail.
It's
Jill,
fine.
I'm thrilled to go on this ride with this journey with you. So through this
Yeah.
year. Yeah, see what I did there.
All right.